Disclaimer: this video includes my own personal commentary and analysis. It's not a substitute for watching the film itself, just my take on the story, its characters, and the emotional beats that bring it all to life. The scene is set in New York City. A group of guys are bonding over some basketball. Here we meet our main characters, Chuck and Larry, who are shooting hoops with their workmates while having a ball. But the lighthearted moment is quickly interrupted when Chuck's girlfriend, Carla, storms toward the court. She's livid. Chuck has just had a tryst with her twin sister. Chuck, a serial womanizer, feigns disbelief, claiming that he's also trying to get to the bottom of the matter. When Carlo's twin sister shows up, they start to argue. Chuck, always suave, talks them into kissing and making up. And just as things are about to get steamy, the fire alarm goes off. Chuck and Larry and the team quickly spring into action, change into their firefighting gear, and leave to go put out the fire out. Chuck and Larry arrive at the scene for their rescue mission. Here they find a tubby guy who admits that he hasn't walked in 5 years. They realize the only way to rescue him is to tie themselves to him with a rope and run in order to lift him out of the chair. They manage to rescue him. Larry has 2 adorable kids. Contrary to his expectations, his daughter is very sporty and his son has found his calling, doing musicals and doing splits. Their rescue mission earlier in the day causes Larry to have an epiphany. He's a widower with 2 children and pursuing a career that puts his life in risky situations. He pays a visit to his pensioners the next day to change the beneficiary from his deceased wife to his 2 kids. He's informed that the chance to change the beneficiary has passed, given that he did not take any action during the 1-year grace period granted to him. The agent suggests that Larry should get remarried if he wants to change the beneficiary to his children's. The next day, Chuck and Larry are at a site that has been razed to the ground, carrying out a search. Chuck gets into an incident and Larry saved his life. Chuck feels indebted to Larry and promises that he'll repay the favor any way possible. On the day that they're discharged from the hospital, Larry's worried and reconsidering changing careers. But Chuck talks him out of it. That same night, while going through his documents, he stumbles upon a newspaper article. The article says that the state now upholds benefits for domestic partners. And Larry, in a stroke of genius, immediately pays Chuck an impromptu visit. Larry suggests that he and Chuck become domestic partners. That way, he has someone to inherit his benefits, look after his kids, and he can continue being a firefighter. Larry plays the rescued lifeguard, and Chuck reluctantly agrees to board the dude train. To make it look believable, Chuck mail is redirected to Larry's address while going about his business one day. Glenn, who works at the pension department, pays a visit to Larry to talk about his newfound partner, Chuck. Glenn sees a picture of Larry and his wife on their wedding day. Larry is able to save face and convince Glenn that he's newly converted to the Rainbow Nation. Chuck also stops by, and they both have an awkward exchange with Glenn. Glenn drops the bombshell that in case of doubt, the company may send an officer for random visits to confirm the legitimacy of their partnership. Larry decides they should go see a lawyer to get a little console. There they meet Alex for the first time. She's drop-dead gorgeous, and they're blown away. Alex explains a previous case in which a fake couple were charged for conspiracy to commit fraud. She gives them an idea to visit Canada, where they can legitimize their relationship through marriage. Chuck and Larry set out to Canada to officially get married. They also have some photos taken to make their newfound relationship seem a bit more credible. Chuck and Larry finally move in together, and all is going well until one day when Larry finds Clint, a city investigator, rummaging through his trash. Clint accuses Larry and Chuck of having trash that isn't gay enough. Chuck and Larry spring into action and go shopping for like fruity stuff. Chuck runs into Alex while at the supermarket, though. He's digging her vibe. He has to remember that he has a husband on paper. She invites him in, Larry, for a fundraising event. Then Chuck and Larry attend the fundraiser. They walk in and realize it's a pride party. When it's time to leave, they find a group of protesters outside the building who are against their lifestyle choice. One of the protesters swings in insult Larry's way and promptly gets decked in the face, and the story makes the newspaper headlines. The next day, Tucker, their captain, isn't thrilled about it and calls Chuck and Larry for a meeting. Their jobs is on the line. Chuck decides to go to a bar for a little hair of the dog. He receives a call from Alex, thanking him for his heroic act. She realizes he's a bit down, and she invites him for a shopping spree. Chuck's over the moon. This is his chance to hang out with a gorgeous lawyer. Meanwhile, Larry is at his children's career day when it's his turn to present to the kids. They poke fun at his lifestyle choice. Even the parents from the class remove him from camping and football activities for the kids. Chuck and Alex go over to Alex's house after a girl's day out. They're wet, having been rained on. Alex gets comfortable and starts to undress. Then Chuck starts to enjoy the view. He ties his jacket around his waist to hide his excitement. Otherwise, his cover is not the only thing he's going to blow. Chuck then asked her if her boobs are real. Then she asked to feel them to check they are real. The friendship between Chuck and Alex is blossoming. Alex confides in Chuck about her past relationships. One thing leads to another, and they start making out. They both get caught up in lip service, and Alex realizes she's making a mistake and tells Chuck to get out. Back at the house, Larry finds Clint playing basketball with his kids. Clint is suspicious as to why Chuck isn't around spending more time with his alleged children. Larry tries to save face again and lies that Chuck is at the movies with his mother. But his daughter reveals that Chuck is visiting their lawyer. Clint is all too happy with this information. He just inches from uncovering the truth. Chuck and Larry are later called to rescue someone from a ventilator. It's here that they get into their first marital spat. Larry feels unsupported, and Chuck blames Larry for getting them into their current predicament. When they get to the office, Tucker hands them a petition from their workmates who want their transfer. Chuck and Larry now have to work 2 separate shifts. Shocked by the betrayal, Larry expresses his disappointment by reminding the crew of how Chuck helped everyone in the past. Chuck and Larry reconcile. Chuck's also been helping Larry's son practice for his audition. For the first time, Larry's accepting his son's eccentric personality. It seems that things are back on track when Alex calls Chuck and Larry. A report has been published in the newspaper. 16 women have come forward and confirmed their more than friendly involvements with Chuck just days before he married Larry. Alex is worried that this info will affect the deposition. The following day, they head to court. They arrive and find demonstrators outside. Some in support, some were against. Things are going well at the hearing, and it seems Chuck and Larry will get away with their sham of a marriage. But Clint isn't convinced. He demands that Chuck and Larry make out before the court. The pressure piles up, and they both realize they have no choice. Just as they're about to get into it, Tucker interrupts them and tells the court that Chuck and Larry are straight. Although this revelation is inspiring, the council has Chuck, Larry, Tucker, and their workmates arrested and jailed. The situation looks bleak, and everyone is upset that the city's firefighters are locked up. The council head pays them a visit. Chuck and Larry are offered a deal to plead guilty to the charges and use their newfound fame to help raise funds for research into a deadly disease. There's newfound love. Alex's brother gets married to fireman Duncan. While at the wedding, Chuck makes amends with Alex. His newfound love, Larry finally puts himself out there, taking a chance on love again. The first spark since losing his wife. And maybe, just maybe, the start of something new. Subscribe for more videos like this. Turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.